No, let's get started. Tom Brady,
Yes.
this kills me. The NFL has a new rule. I guess they just adopted a new rule that allows more flexibility when it comes to numbers worn on players' jerseys. You know that for a long time, certain players could only have certain numbers. It was a way of identifying them and whatnot. But now, players can now wear any numbers. They can wear like a single digit, right? At one point, it was tight ends and wide receivers, 1 to 49 or 80 to 89. Offensive linemen could wear 50 to 79. Defensive linemen can wear 50 to 79 and 90 to 99. And linebackers, 1 to 59 and 90 to 99.
Yeah.
That's all out the window, Jonas. What did you think when you heard about this?
Well, so I didn't, and this is what makes Tom Brady great. And listen, I'm just reading what Rob Parker has put down on paper here. These are Rob Parker's thoughts that I'm going to relay here on the air because Rob Parker feels the exact same way.
Oh yeah,
but
I doubt that.
He trusts me being able to represent him in a way that he can kind of sit back and it's been a busy week and just sort of kick his feet up here. This is what makes Tom Brady wonderful, great, special, and a guy that you have looked up to for going on 2+ decades. Because while everybody else is celebrating the idea of, a defender, a linebacker can now wear number 8. Jalen Ramsey can wear number 2 if he wants to, or number 1, or whatever number they were throwing out for Jalen Ramsey. Like all these other defensive players that can now change the way that they look, a la like they're in college all of a sudden. Tom Brady didn't look at it like who's going to sell the most jerseys now? Tom Brady looked at it from a football standpoint, and he said, so hold on a second. Now you're telling us that we've got to get confused by who's where, what defender is here. We can't make the proper reads and the proper adjustments, which is just another example of why you have always been leading the charge on this, that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, not just for what he does on the field, Rob Parker, and what he does on the up and up with no cutting of corners and nothing like that ever in his career or on his resume. But the fact that Tom Brady has identified a flaw with this when everybody was celebrating it just goes to show you what a true football genius he is.
Tom Brady, as usual, and none of that you just said came out of my mouth. I want no part of it, but this kills me. And Rob G took to Twitter, and he was spot on. He said the things that Tom Brady has a problem with is linebackers wearing a single-digit jerseys, right? Here are the things that Tom Brady doesn't have a problem with. Illegally recording opposing sidelines.
Yeah.
Stadium cutting audio to opposing opposing coaches' headsets.
Yeah.
Deflating footballs. The tuck rule. All the stuff that helps him win. I don't remember Tom Brady. I remember Tom Brady destroying his phone and never explaining why he had 100 text messages to a ball boy that he claims he didn't even know. I mean, 100 messages. You must be having a relationship. I mean, and then to say that you don't know him? How in the world could you text somebody 100 times and not know what possibly could you be talking to a ball boy about other than the ball? So this is Tom Brady, as usual, gee whiz, jolly gee, all this other stuff, aw shucks. Tom Brady is like all up in arms, getting dandruff over the idea that a linebacker could wear number 1. Oh, I'm confused. Let me see. The guy standing on the other side of the defense in the middle of the field, I don't know who that is. Do you need a number to identify that he's a linebacker? I mean, come on, Tom Brady. Any simpleton could figure this out. Depending on, it can't be a tight end on the other side of the field. It can't be a running back on the other side of the field. Who is it? It's a linebacker. Look at how he's lined up, Mister. I can read the defenses. Are you reading the numbers or the defense? Lame, taking to social media, calling it dumb, belly aching, typical Tom Brady. Where were you about Deflategate and talking about being fair and honest? Where were you when they caught you red-handed with Spygate, talking about cheating? Where were you? Nowhere to be found, Mr. Tom Brady. And now this is what you take to social media? I think I speak for everybody in NFL America outside of New England when I say, you make me sick. Get off of social media.
So now hold on a second, all right? Here's that is big talk from a guy who's got his own theme song and anthem now regarding blocking people on social media. All right, so that is big talk. You got a lot of balls, speaking of ball boys, going on the air telling Tom Brady to get off social media. Let me just say this. You bring up Deflategate, you bring up filming the sidelines, all that stuff. Look, purely an accident. All right, there was nothing intentional there. Somebody just happened to leave the camera on. You ever been pocket dialed before? Somebody doesn't know they're dialing you, and all of a sudden you get a voicemail, and there's just like some ruffling around.
What you say? You said pocket pool or pocket dialing? I'm trying to figure out where we're going.
Yes, 2-ball quarter pocket. You ever notice it's no more than 2-ball quarter pocket in that game? But here's the thing. He's identified an issue he has with this, and I think he has earned the right to complain about some of the stuff that has happened in the NFL. I mean, he's had to deal with the fact that he's been accused of things like deflating footballs, which all he did was possibly take a little bit of air out of a football because he felt like it would give him a better grip. And then when he went ahead and did it the NFL's way, he went on to still go on to a Super Bowl that year. So it's not like he's using any of these advantages to quote unquote get an advantage and get a one-up over anybody else. He just doesn't like the fact that they're trying to make his job a little bit more difficult, just like you didn't like the fact that they raised the price of Diet Coke 12 cents at a Pollo Loco when you tried to get a drink there one time. So Tom Brady spoke out against it, just like you have spoken out against some of the grievances you've had in your life, and I feel like we should respect him for it because he is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh, my. Would you please stop? It is unbelievable that I just wish he cared about the cheating scandals and trying to make it fair rather than belly aching about something that in the grand scheme of the NFL doesn't really matter, Jonas. Come on, man. What? You don't know what player is where and what player is who by position? Who's the number? What? I don't care about the number. Are you really looking at it? And first of all, aren't the numbers only in the back in the NFL?
Well, there's a lot of ways I could respond to that. All of them are going to get me fired. I'm not going to do that.
Don't do it.
No, I won't do it. But can I throw a couple of conspiracy theories at you that I think you might be able to be a little bit interested in that would go in your favor? Now, I don't believe that these are true, but if I wanted to play conspiracy theorist as to what Tom Brady's really upset about, let me see if you buy into either of these. Number one, how much of this has to do with the fact that all of a sudden a bunch of defensive players who have never gotten the opportunity to wear single-digit numbers and single-digit numbers that look so much cooler than the bulky ones that they've got to wear, how much of that do you think is going to impact jersey sales and knock Tom Brady down near the top of the list, and maybe that's what's bothering him? Maybe there's a little bit of that. Maybe that he's got a little bit of an issue with that. Could be a little
bit. So jersy envy, right? Somebody's number might be bigger than his.
Yeah.
Selling-wise. I'm talking about selling-wise.
That is true. By the way, welcome to Trough Talk Thursdays with Rob Parker here as we will continue to roll on. So there could be a little bit of that maybe he's looking around going, okay, this bothers me. I want my merchandise to be here, and all of a sudden these guys are going to jump in. And here's the other one. Maybe he's laying the groundwork. Similar to what LeBron James did last year when it came to the bubble. You remember when LeBron James made it a point to tell everybody, man, it's going to be a lot harder to pick the season back up when you're an older player based on, your body just doesn't react all that way.
He was trying to sell that story, right.
100% to try and build that narrative. I wonder if maybe this is a little bit of Tom Brady trying to build the narrative that if next year he has success and continues to have success, he can say, and I did this while the NFL was trying to screw me over and make it more confusing to read defenses. So if you're looking for conspiracies, those two I'll buy into 100%.